How to Win Friends and Influence People, 6 ways to get people to like you. And we're on the 6th of those ways, which is simply this: make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. The author shares of a student who told this story in class. He simply said, I wanted to practice these principles I was learning. He was an executive at a company, and he says he was down for some meetings with his wife, and he said she wanted to visit some of her relatives. So they went to an aunt's house who was an older lady, and then all of the family had gathered. And he says, my wife quickly ran off to visit with the younger relatives. And he says, found myself in a room alone with this older aunt. And he says, so I decided that I was going to practice these principles. I began to engage with her and talk to her about how lovely her home was. It was a beautiful old home. And he found out that her and her husband, who had since passed away, had built the home. No architect. They planned it. They built it. It was a beautiful old Victorian home. And she began to take him around and show him all the beautiful things in the home that they had collected from all over the world. And now she was in her older years and simply wanted some attention and wanted someone to know about her life. And he took the time to ask her and genuinely enjoyed visiting with her. They found themselves out in the garage, and she said, this is an old Packard that was up on wheels, beautiful car, old car, hadn't been driven much. And she got quiet and she said, my husband bought this car for me when he was younger, and it was his present to me. And she said, I haven't driven it since the day that he died. And she said, I would like to give this car to you. And he said, oh my goodness, I couldn't accept this. You have so many relatives. And she said, yeah, who are all just waiting for me to die so they can have my stuff. And he says, oh, you could sell that car. And she says, I don't want to sell this car. I don't want to see it driving up and down the street with a stranger. I wanted to give it to someone who values and appreciates nice things. And that's you. And he said, I found myself not being able to not accept the car without hurting her feelings. And so I did. And he said, I had no interest in that car, but I found an interest in a beautiful lady who was reminiscing about her older years. And I enjoyed it. Why? Because I was trying to make her feel important. But he said, you know what happened? Not the car. I felt better about making her feel better. My friends, make people feel important and do it genuinely.